Welcome back to the Hydroponic Daily with myself, Dr. Russell Sharp, the inventor of gold leaf fertilizer. Today we're going to talk about sulfur as a nutrient, spelt with an F if you're American, or a PH in the UK, and I'll give you that one, Americans, because I think that is a better spelling. I won't give you aluminium, but I'll give you sulfur. Sulfur is very important for protein synthesis, and there are certain amino acids that contain sulfur. Not all of them, like they all contain nitrogen, but certain ones contain sulfur. And so for certain enzymes, you're going to need sulfur in the protein. It's required for energy conversion in photosynthesis. So you might be absorbing, you might have plenty of chlorophyll, but you won't be absorbing it correctly if you haven't got enough sulfur. And chloroplast, it's easy for me to say, chloroplast function. So chloroplasts are the tiny little organelles in the cell that house the chlorophyll and all the mechanisms required for the plant to photosynthesize, and they can't function without enough sulfur. And so the symptom of deficiency, when you combine all those three things together, is light green leaves. You don't see yellowing, you don't see browning or purpling, they go light green, like a dull green, light green. And so that's a symptom of sulfur deficiency. Where you will see sulfur deficiency, this is quite a common one in hydroponics, and you'll see it where people are using granular fertilizers that don't contain sulfur. So if it's a liquid feed, they often don't contain calcium, but granulars, because of the way they're formulated, they often don't contain sulfur, and they require you to add the sulfur in, and they assume that you're going to add the sulfur back in. Now, Will from Gold Leaf in the US, we've been out to hydroponic lettuce farmers, where they've just assumed that the sulfur is coming in the water. And unless there's a volcano nearby, there's not going to be a lot of sulfur in the water. I don't think there are many volcanoes in Ohio, but I might be wrong on that one. And so we solved their problems overnight by just saying, right, you need to add, well, first of all, you need to get on gold leaf, but failing that, add some sulfur back in. And they were adding a bit of sulfur with sulfuric acid for their pH down, but it wasn't a great deal. So their whole lettuce crop, you don't want a light green, dull lettuce crop, do you? You want a vibrant green lettuce crop. And so sulfur, very important. And some people burn sulfur, elemental sulfur, in their grow rooms to cure pest and disease. However, it should not be done if there's crop in your grow room, because it basically rains down sulfuric acid. And you can't use powdered sulfur on the soil, because it's very, very slow releasing, and it'll reduce the pH too much. It basically forms sulfuric acid. And so don't use powdered sulfur. Use a good base nutrient. Failing that, use a soluble sulfur form. So sulfur, very important, very often a deficiency, a secondary macronutrient, so needed in significant amounts. And yeah, any comments or questions, leave them below. Thank you very much.